Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We have a super fun webinar for you today to get you in the holiday spirit. We are going to talk about how to party plan like a pro with Atlassian Rovo. My name is Kayla Buck, and I'm on the business team here at Herzum. With me today, I have Shannon Moran, who is also on our business team. Before we get started, I have a few quick housekeeping things to go over, and then I'll pass it back to Shannon so she can tell you a little bit about Herzum, give you some background about who we are and what we do, as well as introduce Atlassian's Rovo. All right, let me just go ahead and get started. So first things first, all of our material that we're going to share with you is created by Herzum. So you're welcome to take screenshots for your personal use, but you're not allowed to share it on social media or any other networks. If you want more details on a topic, if something really sparks your interest that we're talking about, go ahead and leave us your information in the survey that you'll receive at the end of the session, and we'll schedule some time to meet with you one-on-one, and that way we can get some of your questions answered. Housekeeping things on your screen, you have two windows with which you can communicate to us. One is the chat and the other is the Q&A portal. So feel free to drop any questions, comments, concerns in there at any time, and we'll do a quick Q&A check-in at the end. And with that, I will pass it over to Shannon to tell you about her.
Perfect, that sounds great. Yes, and anyone who does have questions, it'll probably be myself who follows up with you. Again, my name is Shannon, and I'm glad that you were able to make the time to join today. So for those of you who have not joined us before, Herzum is an international consulting company whose objective is to help teams and companies be successful. With more than 20 years of experience, we have supported the implementation of Agile, DevOps model, and the digital transformation of companies in 18 countries around the world from our headquarters in Chicago. We also have offices in Canada, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Colombia, and Ecuador. Our flexible and agile model allows us to meet the specific needs of both Fortune 100 companies as well as new startups. Why should you work with Herzum? Because we put at your disposal the best practices, knowledge, and experience of companies around the world. And we have a group of certified experts in methodologies and tools that will allow you to achieve your objectives. So a little bit more about what those tools and technologies are. We do everything Atlassian here at Herzum. We also have Agile collaboration, DevOps implementation, transformation with AI, and RPA automation. Some of the big things that we're going to be focusing on in 2025 are service desk adoption and also AI. So those are some of the topics that we will be digging into in future webinars. But for the purposes of today, we are going to talk a little bit about AI and specifically Atlassian Rovo. All right, so to tell you a little bit about Rovo. Rovo is Atlassian's first product built entirely for the AI era. It represents a big step forward in unlocking your team's full potential. So what does that mean exactly? Well, Rovo will change teamwork by using the power of Gen AI to enable teams to unlock business knowledge across their organization. Rovo is designed to revolutionize knowledge discovery and action. So there are three big ways that Rovo can help teams. The first is to help you quickly find the relevant information and knowledge that you need across all of your connected applications within the Atlassian experience. The second is to learn from this knowledge in your workflow to discover critical insights. And the third is to confidently use this knowledge to take action. So to go into that a little bit more before we dive into our example, what we mean is when we talk about the first one, to find, it's really about searching, right? So teams struggle to access vast and expanding amounts of data from a variety of sources. And this is because 90% of data is unstructured. Documents, audio files, chat files, videos. Rovo helps teams get relevant results from their SaaS products and customize that within your Atlassian experience. So Rovo connectors integrate data sources outside of Atlassian into the Rovo platform. So that's all about the search capabilities. Then the second piece we talked about was learn. So Rovo Learn increases team productivity by using AI to provide instant insights and make it easier to understand company knowledge. Rovo chat definitions, smart answers, and knowledge cards help teams generate ideas, find answers to specific things within their work, find experts across their enterprise, and gain insights to accelerate learning and to improve collaboration. And then the third area we talked about was to take action. So what do we mean by that? Rovo helps teams automate tasks and workflows in partnership with AI teammates to improve team efficiency. That's a mouthful. But that Rovo agents are designed to utilize an organization's unique knowledge while keeping their human colleagues informed so that you can accelerate that human to AI collaboration. When we talk about agents and Rovo agents specifically, I will give you kind of the comparison of an app. That's what I've been hearing in the marketplace. Think of an agent as the new app. So if you are thinking about your own workflow, you can have a teammate who needs to save hours a day by getting better results because they are more specific in the work that they're doing. So you can understand different types of teamwork. The agents can have access to specialized knowledge and actions, and they can be invoked at many touch points in your daily work. But an important point is that Rovo agents only enter by invitation. So one more slide about Rovo agents, and then we'll jump right into planning your year-end party. But it does kind of help set the stage when you understand a little bit more about what these agents are and what they can do. So here are a couple of examples of Rovo agents for any team or task. And these agents are ready to use agents. You can also, of course, create your own. There's a Jira theme analyzer, an issue organizer, IT ops. So these are very specific agents. And then, of course, also a service request helper. So those are just a couple of examples. But each one of these out-of-the-box agents is ready to go for your use at any time. And they can help save you a lot of, just basic tasks within those specific areas of interest.
And like Shannon mentioned, yeah, you can customize it. So whatever type of project that you're working on, once you kind of create your Rovo agent, you can use it on future projects. So once you kind of put in the groundwork of what you want it to do, what you want it to look like, you can go ahead and just plug it in for future projects. One thing that's not on here that we're going to dig into today is the Canva for Confluence agent that comes out of the box here, and that's a perfect application for planning your party.
Yeah, so helpful and creative. And I think, as we're going into this example, it can be hard to brainstorm, like, okay, where do you start with these agents? Yes. How do you have a conversation with them? And hopefully this will get you brainstorming about different use cases in your own world.
Yes.
Thanks, Kayla. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. So planning a corporate event like a year-end holiday gathering can be a super daunting task, like we talked about. If you're the one who's in charge of planning the big party and you don't really have a major team to lean on, you're gonna need some support from somewhere. You might be feeling overwhelmed, and like we said, like, where do I begin? There's so many different things. Where do I get started? And so that's when you'll bring in Atlassian Intelligence to fill in the gaps and help you with the mental load of all the tasks that go into planning something like this. So what's really great about this exercise is, like we said, you can rinse and repeat it for future events. So once you put in, most of the groundwork of setting up the templates and going through the motions of, okay, what are some of the tasks that I need? What are some of the specific action items within those tasks? Once you do that, you'll be able to just plug and play for next time. So of course, we've seen a lot of different use cases for using Atlassian Intelligence and deploying Rovo agents for some of the more technical tasks. But this example really shows how much of the mental load can be lifted when you pair Atlassian Intelligence with the different Atlassian tools. So let's take a look at which specific tools we're going to use. So first of all, we'll need Jira to manage all the tasks in one place. We're going to use Confluence to brainstorm. We're going to prepare and store the information that we gather throughout the planning process. We'll layer Rovo and Atlassian Intelligence on top of both of those. And for this example, like I mentioned, we're going to use this Canva for Confluence Rovo agent that's specifically designed for those administrative tasks like that. And I also want to highlight that throughout the party planning process, you may need to be communicating with different departments, whether it's finance, management, or marketing, and you might need to get some sign off on either budget or different. Maybe you're not the one who gets the final say on venue, date, all of that. You're going to need to do a lot of back and forth communication. And so I'm going to show you one example of how you can use Atlassian's Loom. And that will really help bridge the communication gap, replace meetings so that you can stay on schedule for your party planning tasks. So let's talk about some of the typical party planning tasks that come to mind when okay, I have to plan this holiday party for my company. First of all, you have to set the date, set the venue, invite the guests, hire the caterer, plan the entertainment, decide if you're going to have some type of giveaway, swag, what have you, track the RSVPs, and then, hope that everything kind of comes together in time for your big event. Now, this is just me coming up with these, okay, this is what I think of when I need to party plan. So in this demo, I'll show you how you can use the Atlassian tools to help you with not only the mental load, but how to save your company time and money. So the first part of the demo, I'm going to show you how to use Rovo to set up a project in Jira using a few simple prompts. As I mentioned earlier, this exercise kind of highlights how someone in a non-technical role might want to use Atlassian and Rovo to help them with their work. So by giving Rovo a few simple prompts, I'm able to set up my holiday planning board so I can start working fast. I don't need to go in and take it step by step. I can kind of just ask and get some help. So it's really just more of like a teammate in this situation. Once we have our Jira board set up, we'll be able to start chipping away at some of the tasks. A lot of these tasks can be done in tandem, but there are a few that kind of depend on one being completed before beginning the next. So, right, you can't invite people to a venue that hasn't been booked. So I'll show you how to use Rovo and Confluence to organize your venue and caterer research and help you with some of the more repetitive tasks and save time for your future event planning tasks. In this first example here, I used Confluence to help me create an email that I can send out to various caterers and restaurants inquiring about our event. And this is something too, once you have this, you can use this template for pretty much the same thing for the venue, for perhaps like entertainment, all those things. So it's just kind of a base template that you can use and apply to every different situation. In this example, I used Rovo to help me create a chart to track all the details as I do my research. So this is something that you can implement across a lot of different tasks too. And once you really get into the habit of using Rovo to automate some of these more manual tasks, like setting up your work for yourself, you can really save a lot of time. And it's little by little, but across your whole day, if you're taking meeting notes and you want to just plug it in, you can have Rovo help you. In this case, what was really awesome about this party planning template was some of the key pieces of catering planning I totally overlooked just when I was thinking of it on my own. And so when I used the prompt in Rovo, it offered me considerations about dietary restrictions and all of that. And that's, for some reason, something that I overlooked. And so it kind of served as a check and balance for me. I wasn't going to include that on my chart if I was going to make it manually. But when I created the prompt here, it reminded me, oh, this is something that you need to consider. Finally, I'll show you, here's the fun one, how to use the Canva for Confluence Rovo agent to help you create your digital invite. So for this one, I did a little brainstorming, and then I just opened up the Rovo agent and let it go.
Awesome. This is such a great overview, Kayla. I'm excited to see it all come together. And now I want to get into the details.
You're like, what do I want to plan? Yeah. So now that we have an idea, let's jump into it. I'm going to switch screens here. All right.
All right, we can see it. Ready to go.
Great. So you're planning your party. It's time to create your Jira board and get everything started. I'm going to come in and make a brand new board. Use a template. Team managed project. I'm going to name this Herzum Holiday Party. Herzum Celebration. I've already done a lot of practicing here. So we'll do private for now. Herzum Holiday Celebration, HHC. That's going to be my new project. And when I'm setting it up for administrative tasks like this, it's really important to have your Confluence page linked so that it can pull in your brainstorming things so that everything is working together. So I'm going to link my Confluence space that I've been working on here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go off camera quick, and then you can see my screen a little bigger. How's that?
I'll do the same thing.
Okay, there we go. That way it makes a little bit bigger. All right, great. Okay, so my Confluence page is set up. Okay, now what? You might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. What am I going to do? What are my tasks? Where do I begin? For this, I'm going to switch over to my Confluence page to start a little brainstorming. One thing I want to point out here, if you draw your attention over to the left, an update in Confluence Cloud is that they added these folders. And what's really nice about that is you can keep everything organized better without having to create blank pages with the parent and child kind of workflow here. So this is one of my new favorite features of Confluence Cloud. So I'm going to go into my holiday planning folder. I'm going to pull open my event planning page. And what I'm going to do is get started with Rovo Chat. As you can see up across the top here, there's the chat. I'm going to get that open, and it's going to pull out a pop-up on my left. Right here is where you'll switch between different Rovo agents or chat. I'm going to use the chat feature right now. One thing I want to call out is that if you want to use the chat as a pop-up window within your tool, you'll leave it here. If you want it to be on a completely separate tab, you'll go ahead and pop it out, and it will open up in a different window. This is nice for referencing past prompts that you've used and kind of keeping all of your brainstorming and search in one place. For now, I'm going to use the chat on the pop out on the main page just to keep everything kind of in one place. So what are my tasks going to be? I'm going to ask, create a list of tasks for planning a corporate year-end party. Let's see what it wants to come up with today. All right, here we go. I'm going to see if I can make this a little bigger so you can see here.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Great. So it pulled up a list of a variety of tasks that you might want to use for planning your corporate party. So we have define event objectives, set a budget, set a date, choose a venue, create the guest list, send the invitations, plan catering, transportation. Ooh, that's not something that I had in mind. Planning entertainment, setting up technology. Oh, you know what? Another thing I overlooked when I was brainstorming by myself. Just funny since we are a technology company. Coordinate directions, prepare event materials, conduct a final walkthrough, and gather feedback post-event. Okay, so these are, like I said, this is helpful for me to give a broader picture of all the different tasks that I want. And so you don't have to use all of these. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Really, it just gives you a good idea. What I like here is it offers kind of suggestions based on what you started talking about. So if you kind of don't have a framework in mind of how you want to start your planning and you kind of just want to let it evolve, you can kind of just follow this path. So, okay, let's see. Any tips for choosing a venue? Let's see what it gives me. Okay, here are some tips for choosing a venue for a corporate event. Capacity and space, location, amenities, ambiance, style, cost and flexibility, reputation. Sure, contract and policies, great. Okay, so that helps me kind of give an idea. I'm not really in the mood to figure out a venue right now. I want to do something with the catering. I don't want to do this right now. So I'm going to pivot. I'm going to pivot back to my board. What I did was used all of these and I asked Rovo to create me a board. It set this all up here and I edited these according to the ones that I wanted to do. And then I set dates. What I did, I wasn't quite sure which dates to do. And so I asked Rovo to figure out which date my event should be. So my event is on December 20th. When should I order catering? Okay, so they're recommending at least 4 to 6 weeks in advance. And they're saying, given that my event is tomorrow, I should probably have already figured out my catering, which, yep, they're definitely right. We're gonna have to
I think Rovo's getting a little snarky with you. I don't know.
Given that your event is tomorrow, yeah, you're gonna have to hurry up. Yeah, we get it. I love it. So like I said, it kind of helps you keep accountable. Maybe you had an idea like, oh, I should definitely be doing this at least 2 weeks in advance, but this is recommending 4 to 6 weeks, which is probably a bit more accurate. So from that, I can kind of just work backwards and plug in all of my dates. So let's go back to Jira. So remember I had created my board. I have just this Hertham holiday celebration board ready to go. I'm going to show you what I've built out already based on those different prompts. So, and actually here, let me show you kind of the history of how I created it using Rovo. I just switched over to the chat tab, which is showing me my history of all of my different searches. As you can see, here's the one that I just did. So when I was starting to plan it, I got my Confluence set up. Then I used the prompt to ask about all the different tasks. And then I asked here, I said, create JIRA issues based on these tasks in a holiday planning project. So from the information that was linked in my Confluence page, it created an epic. I went ahead and clicked it. When I opened it, it didn't have any stories. So I asked, add stories to this epic based on the holiday party planning tasks. From that, it gave me a bunch of different issues based on the different tasks that I had loaded in my Confluence page. So I was able to click which ones I wanted to add. I thought they all sounded great, so I selected all and added it to my board. And here they are. As you can see, I've been doing a little work on some of my tasks. And so I'm going to switch to the summary just to see where I left off and where I want to go. This is a new feature that's super helpful with preloaded dashboards. Yeah, it's super great. And so I can see kind of how much progress I've done, where I'm at, and it looks like I have quite a bit left to do. But luckily,
you have gotten quite a bit done, so good job.
Yes, I glass half full. Here we go. But I don't have anything due in the next 7 days, so I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. I don't have anything super pressing. This is a place where you can come to get a quick glimpse into your project. This is a page that I would be wanting to share with management, and so this is something that they can take a quick peek. Okay, she's on track. I don't need to worry about it. Let's say, I mean, obviously, if the event was tomorrow and I still had, 14 items to do, things wouldn't be looking so great. But for the sake of the example, your management can come in here and get a quick glimpse into where you're at. So let's go back to the board. So I've been working on a number of these events. I've already got my event mostly planned in terms of the setup, date, venue, budget, guest list. Right now, I'm kind of working on these two at the same time. I need to select the caterer. And so I'm going to switch over to my catering options Confluence page to start doing some brainstorming. So I gave the prompt to create a catering options planning template. And this is what I was referencing earlier. It created this, and it reminded me that I might need to consider different types of dietary restrictions. I might need to consider the budget, and I also need to consider the decision timeline, which is super helpful here. So things to track. I'm going to use this Confluence page as a reference throughout my planning process to house all of the information that I pull during my research. And so let's say I have this. What I did was researched a bunch of different caterers, and I actually used the chat in Rovo. So I asked, suggest caterers in Chicago for a corporate event.
Kayla, you got a little bit quiet. I can still see your screen.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I need back here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
Sure.
All right, so it pulled up some ideas here. And as you can see, they provide a variety of prices, menu options, and you can choose it. So again, like I said, if you have a set kind of plan in mind of where you want to go next, how you want to start this, you can just kind of follow the prompts and see where it leads you. I already know I've booked a number of caterers for our events. I already know how to do this research, so I've already picked these. After I've picked these, I need to start reaching out to the different restaurants and caterers. What's super time consuming is thinking of how I'm going to ask the different restaurants and caterers about all of this. So what I did was I turned to my Rovo chatbot and said, write me a template for an email to send to caterers inquiring about corporate event. Okay, so they've got a subject for me, inquiry about catering services. Hi, caterer, hope this finds you well. I'm reaching out to inquire about your catering services. Here are the preliminary details. Now, this doesn't really sound like me, so I'm going to ask, can you make this sound less formal?
I'm kind of interested to see what comes back, you know?
Yeah. So it says, hey, restaurant, hope you're doing well. I'm planning an event and wanted to check in about your catering services. Here's what I've got so far. So I'm going to go back, copy paste this, set up a bunch of email drafts, and send out the emails to the caterers. Once I've collected all that information, and so we know that's a very time-consuming task, but using Rovo to help you with whatever you can in partnership with, working on the research on your own end, you can save time by still relying on it to help you with creating this tab or this table and plugging in all the information. So here's my research. I looked at these different caterers. I'm going to recommend Blue Plate. So I know that I have to decide by, the 4 to 6 week mark before the event. I need to communicate my research and everything to my boss. And so I created a Loom. This is what I referred to earlier when I was telling you about using Loom to replace meetings. So here I've switched to my Loom tab. I have pre-recorded, siren, hope you couldn't hear that. I have pre-recorded a Loom doing a quick overview of the research that I've done and my recommendation. And so you won't be able to hear the audio, but I explain this and I offer her the link to the menu. And what's great about this is it basically summarizes what was in my video. And when I go to send Shannon a message to let her know, here's what I'm recommending, here's what we have, I just need to copy paste this, drop the link to the Loom, and we don't need to have a meeting. We don't need to find a quick 15 minutes to go back and forth on this. I'm going to send her the information so she has an update of what I've done and what needs to happen next, and she has a clear picture of the action items from this Loom. And so
this is so great. And you know what I love about this is I can review it later, in case you catch me at a time when I'm in between tasks, or your schedule is so busy that maybe we just had trouble connecting that particular day. You're heading out of town, so it gives us an opportunity to go through these details, and I can sort through them in a time that makes sense, with where I can really focus on what all the effort that you've put into it. So I think this is awesome. I love it.
Right. And especially when there's a deadline for something too. So in my note, I'm telling you that, if we book by the end of next week, we can get 15% off. When I looked at our calendars, we might not have had time for us to connect and have a full conversation about it, but I need to get an answer from you by the end of the week. And so this is something that can be used to help you get those answers without having to schedule a meeting.
Yeah, so Loom is saving us money here,
Yes,
right?
it is. If we can get ahead and we can book this by the end of the week, then we can also save money on our catering. So that's something that's really great about Loom. And so pivoting back to our party planning board here, I selected the caterer. Shannon messaged me back and said, yep, sounds good. Go ahead and book it. We've booked it. We're all ready to go. So, something that I really need to do is send out the invitations. I have the date, I have the venue, I have the menu, which is actually kind of important before you're inviting people in case you're going to offer separate meals that they need to select ahead of time. So I need to start working on my invitations. I have my Confluence page over here ready to go. So again, I'm using brainstorming, like I said before. When should I send my holiday party invites out? They recommend at least 3 to 4 weeks in advance. Honestly, I think it should probably be earlier than that, but this is what they're recommending. So Rovo suggested that I include the following items here. Great. What I'm going to do is pull open my Canva for Confluence. And actually, we're going to do this in a separate tab so we can get some good visuals here. I'm going to open up to my agent. And here it is, Canva for Confluence. I'm going to ask, can you create an invite for a year-end holiday gathering for a large corporation? And now this is going to take a bit of time because it is going to create me an invite using Canva, the whole thing. And now I gave a pretty generic prompt, just create an invite for a year-end holiday party. I didn't include a date or a venue or our company or anything like that. And so it's going to give me a generic invite. Okay, here's what it came up with. It's very simple. Joy is the best gift, or together we create our success. I don't really like these. So I'm going to ask again, can you create an invite for a holiday party that is festive and fun? So like I said, your prompt is going to dictate what pulls from Canva. So it's going to give you ideas based on that. Okay, fun. Yep, that is festive and fun. Join us for a joyful holiday celebration soon. All right. This looks all right. I'm going to go
Yeah, it's
ahead and
cute.
click. Yeah, it's not a bad start. And this is one thing about using Confluence for Canva. If you don't have time to spend editing over and over, you can go ahead and just click edit in Canva and here you go. Maybe add your company's name, date, what have you. If you have all the time in the world and you do want to spend a little bit more time, then you have a template here and you can go ahead and edit it as much or as little as you like. So I'm going to pull back to my invite page and I'm going to show you the various examples that it gave me. So this past time I said festive and fun. This time I asked festive and cheerful, and it gave me this option. I had this option, this option. I mean, it really, oh, and look, this is fun. This actually is the same as this.
The same
Same base
shape.
template.
Yeah.
Yeah, same base template, but they gave me, so this to Rovo is festive and fun, and this is festive and cheerful. So they used lighter, brighter colors. So like I said, you're welcome to spend as little time. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. This one's cute. Click and go. You have it set. You just need to download it and run with it. If you have time to spend, if you have a marketing department, they'll obviously be handling this. But if you don't, this is something that you can take care of quickly on your own. So that pretty much wraps up my demo. I feel like this pretend party is stressing me out. I need to get to work on all of these different party planning tasks. So that pretty much wraps the demo. Shannon, did you have anything else you wanted to add about using the Rovo agent within the various tools or the different agents? Anything to add there?
I think this was great. It was an awesome example, and to know that Canva is something that people often associate with, their personal account, to be able to pull that into the business world and make it more creative is so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I love it, and you look how quickly you did all of that. It's such a breeze, right?
Yeah, it's a huge time savings, and it's really exciting to see that you can have all these tools work together. I think that's what's really
Mm.
a huge takeaway is that everything is within the Atlassian ecosystem, and you're there. So I'm going to flip to the end and we'll wrap it up here
Okay.
if it wants to. All right. All right. So for those of you who have missed it, we are Herzum. Here is our contact information. If you want to go ahead and scan the QR codes to find us on LinkedIn, check out our YouTube channel, or send us an email, everything is here.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to give you a call back or email you at any time. Looking forward to seeing you at our next party.
All right. I'll get to planning it.
And it will be a lot quicker next time and easier, won't it?
It definitely will.
Great.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Have a great holiday.
Bye.